I just realized the power of like this bubble, right? This environment where it doesn't matter if the rest of the world doesn't understand, right? Like there are people that are going to be so jazzed, and you know, I've had a long relationship now with Russ and the team, and they're always there for me, and they're always ready to celebrate. Like, who gets that, right? Like that's why businesses fail. They don't have that type of support. So I will be forever grateful to Russ and the team. They changed my life, and now I can like very comfortably say they've changed thousands of teenage girls' lives through me. So grateful is an understatement. I'm Jamie Shannon, and I work with teenage girls who have anxiety, perfectionism, lack of confidence, self-doubt, insecurities, like all teenage girls. I came from a really great family, amazing engaged parents, but I made a series of bad decisions when I was a teenager that took me on like a 10 or 20 year downward spiral. What I love about what I do is that hard stuff makes sense, because when teenage girls come to me and they say, I messed up, I made a mistake, this is what happened, I can like genuinely say like, oh, I got you, no judgment. My past experiences like blossomed into this like amazing way to help girls. So honestly, like as soon as I came out of my dark period, coaching found me. I just kept finding the next thing that allowed me to make the impact that I wanted to make. So I taught high school for 8 years. And then I was like, oh, I don't really like people telling me what to do. I know what I need to do. So coaching was a natural next step, right? So I've been coaching since 2010 and helping girls through similar things that I experienced. So my coaching practice was pretty successful, or at least I felt like it was successful. I made more than I did as a teacher. I loved every minute about the work that I did. I was in such alignment, but I would coach 8 hours a day, 8 clients a day, and I just couldn't break out of that, right? So it was the time for money, and I was exhausted. I was parenting 3 young kids. And so when I came across Russ's podcast, I was like, oh, this is it. Like, this is me creating my own classroom, my own rules, teaching exactly what I want to teach. Like, I was born for this. My son was doing a sleep study at Seattle Children's Hospital, and he had to be hooked up, and I was up all night, right? So I listened probably 10 hours of podcast after podcast. I booked the call the next morning. I went home and I just said, you know, to my husband, I said, you're not going to believe this, but I found what I'm doing next. I'm super excited about it. So I booked the call, and I don't really remember much about the call, except for I was like, come on, let's just get to the part where I say yes, like let's do this. Everything changed. I think I joined late 2018, but then in early 2019, I built my program. And when I joined COD, I knew kind of what my offer was going to be, because I did it all the time as a coach, but I got to like hone in, like, what am I the best in the world at? Just my level of ability to serve girls is, you know, 20 times more than it was me as a single coach with my private practice in my small town, Washington. Those first weeks, I grew a lot as a person. I'd been in my comfort zone for probably 8 years, right? Doing a good job, going through the motions. And this process like asks you to reinvent yourself and figure out who you're gonna be as you step into this next stage, right? And that metamorphosis was a really big deal for me, right? Like every aspect of my life is better for the work that I've done here, and the way I serve girls, the way I serve families now. I don't just coach girls, I coach their moms and their dads, and a lot of times their siblings too. Like I've grown, and I've learned how to take up space and own my voice and my mission, and it's just pretty amazing work. I was just tired in my old path, and I just felt alive and excited. Crazy stuff happened right after I enrolled in COD, and I got in over my head in a home we were living in, and a mortgage, and I spent every last dollar that I had to be here, and somehow I just realized that we needed to get out of this house, even though it was our dream home. So we sold it, and I remember moving into like the dumpiest rental house that you can imagine. It was 1,000 square feet for my husband, my dog, my hamster, my 3 children, no dishwasher, and this place stunk. Like it was a literal dump. And I would go outside and sit under this tree to do my breakthrough calls. And again, like I've known anxiety in my life, and before the calls, I would have a literal panic attack. Like I couldn't breathe. I was so scared to like pick up the phone and say like, no, you gotta come do this. Like it was the most terrifying thing. Like my heart speeds up thinking about it, right? Like I remember sitting under that tree on this one day, and I'd probably had 30, 40 no's, like not just no's, but like no ways, you know, like, and I was sitting under this tree, and in the same day, 2 families said yes. And that was like 6 years ago, but I remember the feeling of that yes. And it was like this whole new world, right? Because before it was face to face, sitting in a room, and now these 2 girls, you know, one in New York and one in somewhere in the Midwest, they're just going, okay, like help me. And it was just such an impactful moment, and a lot changed. Like fast forward 5 weeks, but those first 2 girls in my mind will always be very, very special, because like they were looking at me and I was like, oh shoot, like I really gotta do this. And it's beautiful. Like those 2 girls are very special to me. I had a girl, I was teaching them a lesson on gratitude, and this hasn't happened, like honestly, in the 5 or 6 years I've been doing this, but I asked them to choose a person that they're grateful for, and then I help them peel back the layers and get that feeling or being in gratitude, right? And like she stopped me in my tracks. She goes, well, Jamie, I'm grateful for you. And my gut reaction was like, oh, choose someone different. Like, please choose your mom, choose your sister. Like, but she's like, no, I'm so grateful for you. And she told the entire room her 5 reasons why I've changed her life. And Girl Reimagined, my program, has changed her life. And after I got off the call, I felt emotional about it. And I was like, no, I just need to receive that, right? Like, I think as a teacher, I was working part-time towards the end, and I would take home maybe $3,000. So to me, this was just like mind-boggling that I was able to do this in such a short amount of time. And I remember being so excited about it, and then telling my family, and I don't know if they didn't believe me or if it was really uncomfortable that I said that out loud at dinner. So my family didn't really know how to meet me in that excitement. But I got on a call and I celebrated, and Russ and Lisa were there, and they were so excited for me. And I just, like I knew in my heart, like back to that sleep study night, that this was it. Like I didn't have any doubt. I think what's cool about people that go into the coaching profession is, I won't speak for everybody, but most of us do it from a very heartfelt space. We end up wanting to help people that were where we were. You know, as COD says, it's like reaching out your hand and saying, I got you, right? So for everybody in the room here, or in clients on demand, or people who coach in general, like that striving, that wanting to be the type of person that reaches back your hand and says, I was there, like let me help you get here. Like it's our job to look at making that as big as possible, right? It's tempting to just do it in a way that's comfortable, maybe having some clients after work, but like, no, if this mission is put on your heart, it is your job to like get out there and figure out what's the biggest way I can do this. How can I help the most people, right? Like that's our responsibility as coaches.